Well, I wasn't that keen on the banking, frankly, because I was driving once here and I'm going round the top of the banking at about 300 kilometres and the steering broke.
Oh.
And that was not very good. And so I'm not that keen on banking. But Monza is fantastic. This is the home in Italy, I mean the home of motor racing. And it's got so much history, all the people who've raced here. And you know, I think the trouble with what they do is they try to change the circuits and make them safer. Well, motor racing isn't safe, and therefore I think keeping them as they were is a lot more exhilarating for the driver rather than changing them to make them too safe.
I agree. I mean, today was the first time I think I've driven the bank. It was amazing, incredible. I definitely, because it's a lot different to we don't have any banking in Formula 1 really, so very, very cool. I think we should have a banked corner in Formula 1. But incredible, just in these historic cars, it's unlike anything else. It didn't feel difficult there, no. It feels I mean, naturally to be fast in it, I'm sure is very, very difficult, but I think just to drive it in general, it's a very easygoing car. Great clutch and gearbox was very, very smooth in this one here. Really enjoyed it. Amazing sound, and a bit bumpy compared to nowadays Formula 1 circuits.
Well, bravery and stupidity are very closely related. And if you do certain things at one time, it might be brave, whereas another time it would be stupid to do it. But I think the great thing about motor racing with difficult circuits is that it allows drivers with the greater ability, like Lewis and so on, to be able to ignore that and not take any notice of it.
I think bravery has a different meaning today as it did in Stirling's day. Back then it was a large portion of it was bravery, how far you're willing to go, and then ability as well. Nowadays it's more so ability, and I don't think you really need to be brave in Formula 1 anymore. Whilst it still is dangerous, I don't think you need to be. You don't need to be heroically brave like they did. They were. Absolutely, but it's easy for us to say now. But back then, that's all you know. It's like just today, it's all we know. Maybe in 50 years, it's going to be.
You would have liked racing on roads and so on.
I would have. I would have liked. Close to your era. Yeah, I like even my favorite cars were kind of the mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
Because they're fast, but they were still they were still a little bit unsafe. Obviously still unsafe, and it was just a kind of nice mixture, I think. At your time, probably just too dangerous.
Yeah, well, the trouble in my time, really, more than anything else, was the materials were not good, and therefore we had a lot of breakages, which is not the driver's fault,
Yeah. And I guess that was causing a lot of deaths back then.
Yeah, exactly. 3 or 4 drivers a year.
Wow.
Because of something that wasn't their lack of ability.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's amazing to be a part of this team, to be in the family with Mercedes-Benz. I've been with the family since I was 13, so it's been quite already a long time for me, but to be representing such an iconic brand and such an incredible history is a very proud moment for me. I'm at the pinnacle stage of motorsport, but also of my career, and to be doing it with Mercedes is just the greatest feeling.
Well, when you drive for Mercedes, that's as good as it gets. I mean, in every way, not only the mechanics, but the team managers, and all the things that go on, and the 2 things don't ever happen. I mean, I was driving this car once. This broke up here, the windscreen, and I had to come in. 49 seconds later, I went away with one fitted, which is pretty quick. But the next race, if that broke, you just push a button here and another one came up. And that's the way Mercedes work. It doesn't happen twice, and it gives a driver, I think, a lot of confidence, because I can't think of a driver who was ever killed driving a Mercedes because of a mechanical failure. And that's very gratifying if you're racing. I mean, I'm sure Lewis wouldn't want the car to break. And I think the later we go, the longer we go, the less likelihood there is of that happening.